Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to the beginning of Nebraska's football season, and Huskers have a lot of expectations this year, to say the least. But it's not just the team. A lot of players are expected to take that big leap as well. So in today's video, I've sat down, evaluated the entire roster, narrowed my list of 20, narrowed my list of 10, and finally, I've come up with the top 5 most improved Huskers going into this year. Guys who are not only going to start for the first time ever, but some Cornhuskers who might just be some of the best players in America. So you need to buy stock right now of these 5 because you're going to be hearing their names a lot on Saturday. So really quick, this is a fun video. Make sure to watch the entire thing. Got a lot of curveballs planned as it progresses. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And really quick, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to subscribe. We post daily content, Husker recruiting news, so much more off-season content just like this. So please hit that subscribe button. Join this family. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's just get into it, going over the 5 most improved Nebraska Cornhuskers from what we've heard in winter conditioning, summer workout, spring practice, and so much more. It was hard to come up with only 5. I had about 15 guys I wanted to talk about in this video, but these guys I'm about to mention, I'm going to tell you right now, buy stock right now. They're underappreciated. Nobody's really talking about some of these names. They're going to be in the mix a lot and might just be some of the better players in America. So I want to get things started with the complete hidden gem, who just doesn't get that much respect. Nobody talks about him. This is Jayden Doss. Now, of all the guys in Nebraska spring practice who deserves MVP honors, who really took that big leap, Jayden Doss might just earn that. He was phenomenal in spring practice, and I watched him up close and personal in the spring game. Of course, it wasn't a traditional spring game, and he was by far the MVP of that game. He had multiple touchdowns. He had over 100 receiving yards. When he had the ball in his hands, he was shifty, he was fast, he was making guys miss. He has a great build on him, as you'd imagine. So Jayden Doss, for the first time in his career, he looks like a legit wide receiver. People always forget about him. Again, he was coming in from Kansas City. He was a legit 4-star recruit. We started off at wide receiver. We moved him to DB, moved him back to receiver, moved him to DB, and then finally he is back at his traditional position of wide receiver. Again, he has been killing it, not only in the spring game, which I watched in person, but throughout all of spring practice. Matt Rule mentioned him multiple times. Our new wide receivers coach, Da'Keel Shorts, mentioned him as a guy who was really looking great. So Jayden Doss has the speed, he has the explosiveness, he has the hands, the catch radius, he has the positional flexibility, not only play at wide receiver Z, but he can play in the slot. He can return kicks for you. He can return punts. So Jayden Doss is somebody who, it's a complete utility knife, somebody who Dana Holgerson's absolutely going to utilize. And I know we feel great about this receiver room, and as we should. We feel great about the transfers, Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter. We feel great about the true freshmen, Isaiah Mozee, Cortez, Mills, name a couple. Jayden Doss is somebody we need to talk about more, especially in this 2 deep, because he's going to be on the field a lot, and God forbid there's injuries. Jayden Doss could very well start as the year progresses, and he's going to start well. He's going to play well because Jayden Doss really, man, he's took a big leap. I'm excited about it because this was the player I imagined when he initially committed to Nebraska, because he was so good in high school. His stats were so good. His film was so good, and it didn't work out. And it looked like he was going to be a bust for so long, and I was just so happy. Every time I was getting reports on spring ball, Jayden Doss was named that kept coming up. So really, really happy that he's been balling out. Hopefully continue that throughout fall practice. And you might hear his name a lot this year. Now, let's have a conversation about my second player. This is Riley Van Poppel. I know there's a lot of questions on this defensive line. How can we replace Ty Robinson? How can we replace Nash? How can we replace all the transfers? Whether that's Jamari Butler, whether that's James Williams, a couple others. So Riley Van Poppel is somebody who has just been great in spring practice, to say the least. Now, of course, going into his 3rd year as well. Listed at 290 officially. He's 6'5". He played a lot as a true freshman, redshirted last year. And I know there are a lot of questions. Why did he redshirt? It was simply because of his weight. Again, he could have played all of last year. He could have played all 12 games. But when he got onto fall camp, again, he had a lot of bad weight that was kind of lingering around from his freshman year. He probably wasn't going to start. And the staff just said, hey, we're going to transform your body. We're going to make you look like Ty Robinson going into your 3rd year. And then going into that year, you're going to play like Ty Robinson. So again, he only played in 4 games last season. When he was on the field, he played well, as you'd imagine, but he has been looking like a different beast so far in 2025. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of this guy, but again, he looks like Ty Robinson. He just needs to buzz his hair. I think he actually did buzz his hair. So again, I know all the time we talk about how are we going to place Ty Rob like he was some irreplaceable player. Now, again, I'm going to give Ty Robinson all the respect in the world. He was phenomenal, but he was a 4th-round draft pick when it was all said and done. Okay, the league doesn't lie. The league doesn't lie. And he didn't really have any All-American honors. Didn't really have that many Big Ten honors here and there. we act like Ty Robinson's irreplaceable. He was a great player. It's going to be hard to replace him, but I'm going to give you a bold claim right now. Maybe not this year, but when it's all said and done in Riley Van Poppel's career, if he can live up to expectations, live up to his potential, I think he's going to be just as good as Ty Robinson, if not better. Mic drop, because that's how good of a player he is. That's how good his potential is. He was a high 4-star recruit. He has great speed, great explosiveness, great weight on him. And, don't believe me now? We'll talk again when the season progresses, because, again, he's going to start at nose tackle or 3 technique. It remains to be seen. He's going to start somewhere on the D-line, and he's going to be one of the better players in the Big Ten. We've seen that already throughout spring practice. So that is my second guy. Third player. You might just be looking at the starting cornerback alongside Sierra Wright this season for Nebraska. This is Amari Sanders going into his second year, redshirt of the Huskers in 2024. Again, played in all 4 games, played very well, played in that bowl game as well. But Nebraska, they wanted to preserve that red shirt. And gosh, as he took a leap. He is, of all the players throughout spring practice that I was receiving nuggets about that were playing really, really good, he was probably number 1. He might be number 2. The number 1 might be somebody to talk about as the video progresses, so you're going to have to wait around for that number 1 guy. But Amari Sanders, what more needs to be said about this guy, right? 6'1", 175 pounds. He's very long, right? Long arms. He's so scrappy, physical. He loves contact. You don't see that from corners a lot. You have a lot of corners who aren't willing to tackle. Amari Sanders, he likes getting dirty, man. He likes bringing down running backs, wide receivers. He's very, very fast, very, very explosive. That's rare with a guy how tall he is. Okay. He just does everything right on the football field. And he once again has that high potential to potentially be an NFL draft pick. And he's, again, coming out of Miami, Florida. Say what you want about Miami recruiting, but they know how to develop some corners. Because every single year there's a corner coming out of Miami, whether it's like Amari Sanders, whether it's a Larry Tarver, and they're just freaks of nature. And then there's a bunch of guys who are from Miami, DBs, and they go off to the NFL every single year. So Amari Sanders, he was balling out. Heard a lot of good stuff about him in spring ball. He's locking down some of the better receivers on this team. Iron sharpens iron. But again, it's going to be fun to watch who's going to win that corner 2 battle alongside Sierra Wright. It's pretty much down to Amari. And then Andrew Marshall, Jameer Khan's going to be in the mix, I'd imagine. Larry Tarver and Mario Buford kind of in the mix, but those guys are going to be working in at nickel instead. So that's going to be kind of an inside corner spot in the slot. But Amari Sanders, buy some stock. He's gonna be one of them ones, man. And I think going into his junior year, so not this year, but next year, he's gonna be one of the best corners in the Big Ten. All right, going on to number 4, very underappreciated player throughout his entire career with Nebraska. This is Justin Evans, starting center now for the Huskers. Honestly, kind of had a disappointing season last year, of course, in 2024, starting at guard. This is a guy who, honestly, is phenomenal in the pass pro. I mean, he holds it down in the pass pro. It's just the running game where Justin Evans really struggles. Again, you saw that in the UCLA ball game. You saw that in the Illinois game. You saw that in the USC game, right? Justin Evans just wasn't that great in the running game. Was great in pass pro, but really needed to develop that part of his game. And you've seen him in spring ball, again, put a lot of good weight. Physically, he looks the part. He's starting at center now, which I believe was his natural position all along. He played that when he initially got here going into year 2. He's a leader now as well, which is very important at that center spot. It's basically the quarterback of the O-line, quarterback, where you're signaling out the defense, you're letting them know the mic, this, that, and the third. So Justin Evans, dude, I'm expecting some big things from him. I really do. I think he could be one of those guys who's an all Big Ten caliber player. And I think easily he's going to be definitely a step up from Ben Scott last year, because Ben Scott was also pretty disappointing. So Justin Evans, for me, it's just all about him developing that running part of his game, right? But we've heard a lot of good things about him in spring ball. I'm not worried about that. I think he's actually going to be the best player on this O-line. And I think he's going to be pretty much a high draft pick going into this year. I really feel good about him. And again, he's going back to his natural position, which is very important. That's probably why he struggled in the running game, just because I don't think he's meant to play guard. He's meant to be center. So really excited about Justin Evans, man. He's going to be good. Feel great about him in the rest of this offensive line, honestly. Now going on to number 5. This is Luke Lindenmeyer. Let's just keep with the offense. This is your starting tight end next year. Luke Lindenmeyer, dude. Again, this is somebody who's always been a blocking tight end for the Huskers coming out of La Vista. He's kind of like a Nate Borkertrude 2.0, but what you don't know about Luke Lindenmeyer is what he can do with the football in his hands. He had a couple explosive catches throughout spring practice. Again, he looked good. He looked like he had a little bit of that part of his game. So he's not just a blocking tight end anymore. Luke Lindenmeyer is a guy who actually is a threat down the field. He was a threat down the field last year. People forget, wide open versus Illinois would have won us the football game if Dylan Raiola didn't overthrow him. But Luke Lindenmeyer, he ran a great post route to fake out the player. And again, that's a story for another day. But Luke Lindenmeyer, again, he took a huge jump. This is your starting tight end. I know we love to talk about Haarberg all the time. Luke Lindenmeyer is somebody, give this man some respect. I know we want to hype up Haarberg, but don't disrespect the other tight ends while we're doing it. Luke Lindenmeyer is by far the best tight end on this roster who's healthy. We'll see what happens with Markway. We'll see what happens with Carter Nelson. But Luke Lindenmeyer constantly outperformed Haarberg throughout spring practice. He's going to be a beast. Feel great about him. Then I threw out an extra because why not? And this is somebody who is an established starter for Nebraska. Of course, Deshaun Singleton. 6'3" safety, strong safety for the Big Red. The reason why I continue to bring up Deshaun Singleton is because I think he's going to take a leap from just being kind of an average strong safety to being arguably one of the best safeties in the country. I believe that. I truly believe that with Deshaun Singleton. We're talking about a guy here who's just never been healthy. He's never been dealt the right hand. Of course, he was injured with Matt Rule's first year here. Going into 2024, he was kind of hyped up, but he had a shortened offseason. He really was only healthy going into fall camp, so he didn't go through the summer. He didn't go through spring ball. So he had a shortened offseason, and he still played really well. Of course, was going to enter the NFL draft, probably wasn't going to get drafted, came back. We act like Deshaun Singleton's some old man who can't improve any further. He's only 22 years old, and he's been injured his entire career. And when he has been on the field, he's been phenomenal, laying the boom on guys. He's the hardest hitter on the squad. He's creating coverage. He has a high athletic upside. He's 6'3". He has a great build on him. I think Deshaun Singleton is going to be one of the best safeties in the country. From everything we heard as well in spring ball, with how he was just holding it down, how he's the best player in the secondary, that's what they said. It wasn't Sear Wright, the best player in the secondary. It wasn't Marquez Buford. It definitely wasn't Malcolm Hartsock. It was Deshaun Singleton. Okay? So let's give this man some props here. Let's give this man some attention right here as strong safety. Because the staff genuinely believes that he's going to be a third round, second round draft pick. That's what they genuinely believe. And I could see it happen. Because I'm telling you, the way he lays that boom on people, it reminds me of Cam Chancellor. There's very rarely do you see players with that ability. The last time I saw a guy who could hit that hard was Deontay Williams back in the day, not too long ago with Nebraska. Okay, but unlike Deontay Williams, Deshaun Singleton's great in coverage as well. He has great speed. He actually has that NFL upside. So listen, Deshaun Singleton, I put him in here because he's that guy, man. And I think he's going to take a big jump, and I think he's going to be one of the best players in the country. Just take my word for it. We'll talk again when the season rolls around, but I'm buying some Deshaun Singleton stock. I'm riding with him. That's my guy. We'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, those are the 5+1 most improved players going into this year for Nebraska. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you disagree with me? Do you think somebody was more improved that I didn't mention? Let me know down below. Hey, if you made this far in the video, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go be great, go my roll, and I'll see you in the next one.